everything's fine on 93.9 Dublin South FM.
In a world obsessed with youth and speed, there is this one man who shattered the stereotype, and that is not with rebellion, but with a resolve. Born in Punjab, India, 1911, this man, called Fauja Singh, didn't run his first marathon until he was 89-year-old. And he kept running mile after mile and decades after decade. So when he turned 100, he completed the Toronto Waterfront Marathon, and he became the oldest person ever to run a full marathon. The world took notice of him, and way back in 2004, Adidas, the sporting company, they featured him in the iconic Impossible is Nothing campaign. So he had this unbreakable spirit, radiant smile, and he just didn't become a brand ambassador to a sporting goods. He was a living embodiment of inspiration. Today, when the athletes have a very strict sort of a resume of sculpted body, age, and performance, here, this is this 100-year-old, a Sikh farmer, showing that endurance is as much about will as it is about muscles. He didn't run marathon. He ran straight into the history and reminded all of us that age is a number, but courage is eternal. Why I am talking about Fauja Singh today? Because a couple of days ago, this icon died. And he died because of a road hit and run case. What a sad and a horrible way to bring an iconic life to a closure. What an unfortunate way of bringing a precious life to its end. And that brings me to the topic of the day, the real issue of India today, the road safety, the accidents in India. Every day, nearly 460 people do not return home from a journey they started with no intention to die. Road accidents in India have reached epidemic proportions, and it is just not in numbers, but in sheer preventability of deaths. Every household in India have at least one member or more who have lost in a road accident. There is every household in India which have a loved one who has been injured, and probably life-changing injury still continues with them. All this is preventable. India ranks among the worst globally in terms of road safety, and it accounts for over 11% of the world's road fatalities, despite having just 1% of world's vehicles. And the reasons are many: poor infrastructure, lax enforcement of traffic rules, driver training, and a sheer apathy. It's so common, it's so normal. Few years ago, we saw the tragic demise of an iconic industrialist, Cyrus Mistry, in a seemingly mundane journey gone wrong, where the road signs and the infrastructure was poor at that spot. He wasn't wearing the seat belt, which is a safety feature, and that brought end to a life affecting his loved ones, his business empire, his shareholders, and the aspirations he was carrying to take forward the Tata Group, or for that matter, his own company. His own company has a business in 100 countries, and that all aspirations were cut short by this simple, preventable accident. And the irony is that he was one of the two passengers in the back seat who were not wearing the seat belt, while the front passengers and the driver were wearing seat belt, and they survived. But then we also have the Pune Porsche crash involving underage drunk driver, and the case is still going on. The court is lenient. The judge asked this juvenile, I wouldn't say juvenile because he was few months short of 18th birthday and 6 years short of legal drinking age. And the judge said, write an essay about road safety in 300 words. So that is our enforcement. The two lives lost, again, the lives who had crossed the state boundaries from Madhya Pradesh into Pune, pursuing their dreams. With full life ahead, they were in their early 20s, and all those lives came to an abrupt end because of this underage drunk driver. So India's road accidents and deaths cut across all classes, all ages. And they only point to a systemic rot in the way India views, regulates, legislates, and responds to road mobility. 4.6 lakh road accidents is reported every year. And 1.6 lakh people die. That's averaging 460 deaths daily. One every 4 minutes. So who are the contributing states in India? Uttar Pradesh, highest number of deaths, 22,500 in year 2022. Tamil Nadu, highest number of accidents, 57,000 in a year. And the top 6 are Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Karnataka. So it is across India. It is just not one state which has a problem. It's across, north, south, east, west. And what are the causes? Overspeeding, which is responsible for about 70% of the deaths. Drunk driving. How do we check that? 6% of the fatal accidents are due to drunk driving. Driving on the wrong side. This is another one because of the traffic jams. People cross over onto the other side, on the wrong side. And this is more common in urban cities, in urban areas. Overloading of trucks and buses. Because of the commercial reasons, the owner want to earn more per journey. So the buses are overloaded, the trucks are overloaded, and there is no regulation to manage that. Of course, there is a poor road design and maintenance. Have you seen the bridge in Bhopal which turns at 90 degrees? Or there are no manned railway crossings, potholes, road maintenance, unmarked speed breakers. The list is enormous. But then, who can forget Cyrus Mistri's death because of not wearing the seatbelt? The two-wheelers, the cause of death is often not wearing the helmet. So there is this case in Uttar Pradesh in 2023 where the 14 people of the marriage party died when their bus got stuck on the track, the railway track, and they were run over because there was no gate barrier, there was poor lighting, and of course the driver overconfidence with the alcohol use. So if you see the statistics, there are 10,000 level crossings across the country, of which 1,000 remain unmanned. Not a high number considering that India has nearly 100,000 kilometers of railroads. But then these are the hotspots. The sheer volume of cargo vehicles in India, and many of them overloaded beyond legal limits, have resulted in fatal overturning accidents. And when they are carrying inflammable cargo, that not only is killing the driver but also by the bystanders. So why are Indian roads so deadly? Potholes cause nearly 3,500 deaths annually. Encroachment is another reason, where the roads may be broad, but then it's the people who have started to get into the space. The speed breakers do not have a visible marking, and that makes the vehicle jump over the ramp, hitting the bystanders, and of course, the emergency response gap. For a road accident in India, the response is not to wait for the ambulance or the emergency responders. It's the faith, it's the goodwill of the pedestrians, of the people around to carry the injured to the nearest hospital. The concept of golden hour is not known to the Indian drivers. And this first hour of the accident, the most important one, is often wasted in deciding by the goodwill of the people nearby whether to take a picture on their mobile phones or to carry somebody into their own vehicle and take them to the hospital. Many do not want to help the accident victims because they fear, terribly scared of the harassment that they would undergo through the hands of the police. And this stark difference between the response of a person willing to help and the death of a person is breaking the humanity of Indians on the road, just because people are scared of the law enforcement. So what is government's response? It's so patchy, it's so slow, it's so meaningless. There are laws, Motor Vehicles Amendment Act 2019, which just increased some penalties for violation, drunk driving, 10,000 rupees, insurances, some fitness and license enforcement stickers, e-challan. They do not make any sense when millions of vehicles are on the Indian roads. And in fact, the opposition governments at the state, like West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Punjab, they have refused to implement this key provision of changes in the Motor Vehicle Act. So there is a lack of will, both in the general population and in the policy making of the country with reference to the road accidents and the road safety. There is a cultural and a structural gap when it comes to the road safety. There is no structured driving training curriculum for Indians. We in the schools or in workplace are not taught road ethics in the school. The road ethics probably don't exist in India. You can see policemen on two-wheelers without their helmets on. You can see 3 policemen on a two-wheeler riding arrogantly through the cities. Hit and run culture is prevalent across, and especially those who belong to the affluent families. And then when the accident happens, it's these powerful and rich families make effort, as we have seen in the Pune Porsche case, taking all measures to do the cover-up. And why should we not forget the VIP culture, which routinely flout the traffic norms? They don't wear seatbelts, including our top politicians of the country. And that is eroding the public morale. So we have a fatalistic attitude to road deaths, and we treat it as an inevitable event of life. There is no moral panic when a single death happens on the road. It's so normal. But then we should also compare when we say India is developing and we will be a developed country in another 20 years. Look at the model that Sweden has followed. They have a Vision Zero model where they aim to bring down 0 road deaths. Why can't the Indian politicians at least start talking about it? At least make a slogan out of it. At least the Prime Minister in his 15th August speech talk about 0 road deaths. That intention, that willingness is missing. And that is the problem. People might say, oh, well, Sweden is a small country, they are a developed country. No, India is a large country, but then it has equally large resources. The deaths per 1,000 people in India is 6 to 8 times more than Sweden. And the average speed with which the vehicles move in Sweden is much higher than that in India. Therefore, if somebody talks about infrastructure, we are lagging. If we are talking about the culture, we are unwilling to adapt and learn from the best practices of the world. And how we respond to an accident, we do not have a law. We do not have a system where the accidents can be located. The emergency responders can be at the place and help the victim survive through the first hour, through the golden hour of the trauma. So if we want to see where do we go from here, it's the government failure, it's the public failure, and again I say it's a moral catastrophe. Every accident resulting in an injury, in a loss of life, brings end to an aspiration, brings an end to a dream. It shatters family, it shatters business, it shatters the entire chain of goodness that the humanity can provide. And certainly 1.6 lakh deaths a year cannot be a normal in India, but it is. And this unfortunate statistics must stop. We must start talking about stopping this 1.6 lakh deaths a year. Dear friends, we have come to the end of this discussion. By this time, we have already lost 10 to 15 lives in India. With that sorry state of affairs, I leave you until next week. I come back with another real issue of India. Stay safe, stay informed, and dutifully ask questions. Bye for now.
You are listening to 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Broadcasting from the Dundrum Town Centre. This is Dublin South FM.